God bless America. I love America. I love my United States of America. As a black man, as an African American, as a minority, whatever label you want to put on me, I absolutely love these United States of America. There is no country in history like the United States of America. There is no country that exists right now that comes anywhere close to being as great as the United States of America. I absolutely love this country. I love my country. And this video is made for those of you who feel the same way. There's lots of people in America right now who are actually afraid to love their own country. We're living in very strange times right now. We're living in times that I never ever thought that we would live in my lifetime. Not in a country like America. For those of you watching this video, think of your age, okay? Think of whatever generation you grew up in, whether you're in one of the greatest generation people, whether you're a baby boomer, whether you're Generation X, whether you're a millennial like me. I mean, I was born in 1980, so I'm like right there. Like, depending on what day of the week you catch me, I'm either a Gen Xer or a millennial. I believe I'm a millennial. Generation Y, Generation Z, whatever generation you're a part of, I want you to think back. When has there ever been a time in the history of America where you actually had to hide your love for your own country, where it was actually politically incorrect to love America? When it was considered racist, when it was considered insensitive, when it was considered bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic, whatever other phobic you want to put on it, misogynist, any negative title you want to put on it. When was another time in history that you can remember when it was actually a bad thing to love America? You know, when you compare the two conventions that happened over the last 2 weeks, the Democratic National Convention and the Republican National Convention, you see a big difference. When you watch the DNC convention, when I analyzed it, all I saw was hatred and shame of America. That's all I saw. Whereas when you watch the Republican convention, I saw old school patriotism. I saw old school love of country that this nation was built on. Is America perfect? Of course it's not perfect. There's no country that's ever going to be perfect. Why? Because we live in a fallen, sinful world. That's an unrealistic idea. But I want you to think of all the other superpowers throughout history. And as it stands right now, the United States of America is the sole standing superpower in existence right now. There's never been a country in the history like America, but there's also not a country that exists right now that's anything close to America. We're an incredible superpower. And unfortunately, like all superpowers throughout history, one could argue that America was built on injustice. America was a country that was built on sin. And what is our national sin? We all know what our national sin is. The sin of our nation, the black spot on our nation, is the scourge and the sin of slavery. And according to Catholic teaching, slavery is an egregious sin. There are numerous papal encyclicals that you can read of popes that harshly condemn slavery, which I can link to below if you're interested. Whether you're Catholic or not, the things that the Catholic Church has said against slavery will really resonate, you know, with your opposition to slavery. But think throughout history, guys. Think of all the superpowers throughout history. The Egyptians were built on slavery. Think about it. Egypt, the Great Pyramids, the Great Sphinxes, the Great Nile, everything that we know about that ancient African dynasty was built upon slavery. It was built on the backs of Hebrew slaves. That's what the book of Exodus is all about. Think of the Persians. Think of the Greeks. Think of the Romans. Think of the Africans. Even right now, there's a slave trade that's thriving in Libya right now. So all great superpowers throughout history, all great nations were built upon slavery. The United States of America is no different. And I will acknowledge that. The United States of America was built on slavery. And for those of you that want the real history behind slavery, watch my Real Black History series. Because believe it or not, American slavery was institutionalized by a man by the name of Anthony Johnson. But I don't want to get off topic on that. I've done plenty of videos on that. I've got plenty more videos I'll be doing. But what makes the United States of America different from all the other countries, from all the other superpowers throughout history, or that are still in existence today that were built upon slavery? There is one thing that makes us different. And that one thing is this. is that the United States of America is the only superpower in history, the only great nation in history, past, present, and I would argue future, that was built upon slavery, that actually went to war with itself to end slavery. I want you to think about that. The United States of America literally tore itself in half from north to south to put an end to the sin of slavery. Think about that. I want you to think of all the wars that we've had throughout history, throughout our American history. You know, we're a very young nation. I don't think we're a little over 250 years old of a nation. And think about this, guys. Just think for a second with me. Think of all the wars that we fought, right? World War I, we lost lots of people. World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the Persian Gulf War. And yet, there's a war that we fought that has more casualties, more American blood was shed during this one war than all these other wars that we fought. You guys know what that war is? The Civil War. Our bloodiest war in the history of our country was when we went to war with ourselves to end slavery. There were over 620,000 American lives that were lost in the United States Civil War. Think about that. Look at these numbers to compare. The numbers don't lie, guys. Look at this. Persian Gulf War, we lost 258 people. The Spanish-American War, 2,446. The Iraq-Afghanistan War, 6,200 and some change. 13,000 people we lost in the Mexican War. 20,000 in the War of 1812. 25,000 in the Revolutionary War. 36,000 in the Korean War. 58,000 in the Vietnam War. 116,516 in World War I. 405,399 in World War II. But look at this, guys. 620,000 American lives lost in the bloody American Civil War. Why? To put an end to slavery, that's why. That statistic alone, that fact alone about our great country should make you fall head over heels in love with the United States of America. And to those of you who hate America, to those of you who are ashamed of America, who aren't proud of America, my question to you is this: what more does the greatest country in the history of the world, what more does the United States have to do to get you to love her, to get you to be proud of her? We were built upon slavery. We went to war. 620,000 American lives ended to put an end to slavery. Jim Crow, segregation, we put an end to that with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and all kinds of other legislation that followed that gave us blacks the right to vote, the right to marry outside of our race if we choose to, with the Love Court case that made it to the Supreme Court, the right to be in the military, the right to own homes, the right to bear arms. Every right, every American civil liberty that you can think of, we now have as minorities in this country. Women were finally given their rights with the 19th Amendment. They were given the right to vote. But we have every right that you can think of. And yet there are still people that are still not satisfied with the United States of America, who still don't love America, in spite of everything this great country has done for them to make this country great. So I want you to think about that. What more does America have to do to get you to love her? You have every reason in the world to love her. And if you don't love America, or if you're not proud of America, or if you have problems with America, then work to change those problems, but do it reasonably. Don't do it at the expense of civil liberties. Don't destroy your neighbor's right to their own property. Don't destroy your neighbor's right to his free speech. Don't destroy your neighbor's right to peacefully demonstrate, peacefully, if they don't like things that are going on in America. Go about it the American way. So God bless the United States of America. I love our country. I love this country as a black man. I am a happy African American. I am a happy black man in this country. And I hope that you, my viewers, are also happy just as much as I am. So God bless, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless America. Signing off.